everybody, my name is Alyson Maier and I have authored a Herbal Adventures series of books for kids, together with my beautiful illustrator Morag Aitchison. Now my publisher has asked me to read one of these books for you today, and the one that I'm going to read for you today is called Plantain Medicine. So let's get started. Plantain Medicine by Alyson Maier, illustrated by Morag Aitchison, and published by Kingsley Publishers. This book is dedicated to Lucas and all of the children of the world, so that includes you. May you all continue to connect with this precious earth and inspire the next generation to be thoughtful and generous caretakers. Today, my friend Sophie is coming to play. I am so excited. I love it when she comes over. We play in my playhouse all day and climb trees together. Today is going to be hot, so my mum said we could turn the water sprinkler on. Hi Sophie, did you remember your swimsuit? I ask as soon as she arrives. Of course I did, Sophie replies with a big grin. I'm wearing it. Oh, cool. Let's go, I say, grabbing her by the hand and running into our garden to turn the water on. Sammy and Sophie are getting ready to play. It is so much fun running back and forth through the water as it sprays on us. It feels cold on our hot skin. We giggle and chase each other until Sophie lets out an almighty scream and falls on the ground, holding her foot. Ouch! Ah! Here she is. My mum runs out of the house and turns the water off. Are you okay, Sophie? She asks, concerned. Ah! Sophie screams. It hurts! It hurts! Hold still, Sophie, and let me have a look. My mum takes Sophie into the shade and looks at her foot. Ah, I see, Mum says, examining Sophie's foot. I think as you ran through the wildflowers, you stepped on a bee, and you have been stung. Oh dear, poor Sophie. Ah! Sophie screams. Here, let me pull the sting out, and let's put some plantain on it. Sammy, can you pick 2 plantain leaves for me, please? I hurriedly look around the lawn and find a patch of plantain. I pick 2 leaves and take them to my mum. Here he is in the patch of plantain which is growing in his lawn. Sophie, can you chew on these leaves and spit them out for me? My mum asks. Ah! Sophie calls out. It is clear that Sophie is in too much pain to stop crying and chew on the leaves, so my mum chews on them instead. Mum's spit, mixed with the plantain leaves, mixed something we call a spit poultice. She puts this on the area where the bee stung Sophie. Here, sweetheart, this will draw out any sting left inside your foot, and it will help soothe the area. My mum places the poultice on the bee sting. Sophie sobs as my mum holds it in place on her foot. Before long, Sophie catches her breath and lifts the plantain poultice to take a look. Ouchie, that really hurts, Sophie says. What did you put on the sting, and how did you know it would work? My mum knows all sorts of things about plants, Sophie. My granddad taught her when she was young, and now she is teaching me. Plantain looks like this, I say, proudly holding up a plantain leaf. There are different sorts of plantains too, Sophie. There's skinny ones and fat ones. That's right, Sammy, says my mum, and they will all work on a bee sting, or any bite or wound for that matter. So you can see it will work on bee stings, splinters, ant bites. Still hurts a bit, says Sophie. I know, dear. Let's have a little rest in the shade of this tree while the plantain soothes the inflammation, my mum says, reassuring her. What is inflammation? Asks Sophie. Well, you see how red it is now around the sting area? It looks a bit puffy and swollen. That is called inflammation. The body does this to try and fix itself when we get sick or hurt. And the reason it gets puffy and swollen is because our internal army comes to fix the problem, I shout over my mum. Yes, that's right, Sammy, smiles my mum. But don't worry, Sophie, I say. Plantain will help the body's army to work faster, and you'll feel better soon, and then we can all play again. So Sammy calls his immune system his internal army. Sophie looks concerned. Maybe we can just rest a little bit longer, Sammy, Sophie asks wearily. Sure, I say, a little disappointed. But then I remember a really cool game you can play with plantain. Sophie, let's play cannonballs with the plantain flower heads. Cannonballs? She asks. Yeah, look, I'll show you. I race over to the plantain and pick 2 plantain flower tops. I give one to Sophie and the other one I keep. Look, all you need to do is wrap the stem around the bottom of the flower top and then pull the flower top back through the loop really fast. This will make the flower head shoot off like a cannonball, I say excitedly as I loop mine and shoot it off. Oh, off it goes. It accidentally hits my mum on the nose. Sophie giggles while my mum looks at me with a scowl. Oops. Sorry, Mum, I say. And then, before I know it, my mum grabs one and shoots one right back at me, landing on my shoulder. Oops. We all roll around on the grass, firing plantain cannonballs at each other, giggling and enjoying our new game. Suddenly, Mum has another brilliant idea to cheer up Sophie even more. They're having so much fun. Have you played this game before? How about we make Sophie a plantain flower head ring? Sophie grins from ear to ear, and before we know it, she is wearing her very own priestess crown, made from the plantain flowers. In all of the fun, Sophie forgets all about the sting on her foot. And that's the end of the story. But before we completely finish, do you remember in the story when Sammy said that there was different types of plantain? That there were skinny ones and that there was fat ones? Well, in the back of this book, my illustrator, Morag Aitchison, has done a beautiful job of drawing the 2 most common plantains that you will find in the wild. The skinny one and the fat one. The narrow leaf or ribwort plantain has a little flower head like this, or the broadleaf plantain. There's a fun little learning activity in the back of this book where you could go out with your mum and dad and see if you can find some of this growing perhaps in your lawn or in the park or perhaps near the sidewalk in your town. These weeds grow in most places around the world, and I'm sure if you look hard enough, you will find one. This was Plantain Medicine, and I'm Alyson Maier. Thanks for listening.